Many years ago, had the great privilege and honor to serve on staff at Shooting Times magazine as their hunting editor. Same time I was there, Sheriff Jim Wilson was on staff as well too, and I had the opportunity to hunt with the sheriff several times, including on this photo you see right here was taken on the Nail Ranch. The interesting thing about that is Jim also, along with Shane John, does what's called guntales.net, and they recently came out with this book. This is volume 1, and it is a chapter called I Ain't No Expert. Now, going back to that hunt that I just barely started describing there on the Nail Ranch many years ago, Sheriff Jim showed up with a rifle, and on it was mounted a red dot sight. He, after a little bit, came to me. He said, Larry, man, I don't know what's going on here. He said, I can't get this thing to work no matter what I do. He said, it just is not working for me. And I looked at that red dot sight, and the interesting thing was it was on backwards. And I said, I said, Sheriff Jim, I said, I think if you'll turn this thing around, I said, you may be able to see that red dot when you push the button for it to turn on. He did. Of course, there it was. He could see the red dot. Along those same lines, years ago, as a writer, and often got invited to different type of hunts, and we set up one down in South Texas on McLean Bowman's ranch down close to Asherton, down in the Texas brush country, if you will. And there's a major scope company, like I said, showed up, and they had like 3 or 4 different rifles, and they decided to go sight them in while the riders did some other things, and then we were going to all shoot. And I just happened to take them down to the range. And while I was there, they were going, man, I don't know what's going on here. We just can't get these rifles sighted in. Must be something really wrong with these rifles or this ammunition. Now, they were shooting Hornady ammunition, and I knew there was nothing wrong with the Hornady ammo. So I sat there for a little bit from a distance watching them, and then walked up to them. And when I walked up to them, guess what? Whoever had mounted the scopes at the factory for that optic company had all the scopes mounted backwards. What was supposed to go to the front was pointing to the back. And kind of walked up there. I said, when you're looking through that scope and you're looking at that target way down there about 100 yards away, does it look like it should be about 500-600 yards? And go, yeah. What's the matter? And I said, well, let's do a couple little things here very quickly. So I got out my tools and reversed the scopes to where they mounted like they were supposed to be. And guess what? We had those scopes sighted in just no time at all. But going back to the gun tales from Shane John and Sheriff Jim Wilson, there's a chapter in there that says, I ain't no expert. Now, we've all made mistakes, and it's some of the interesting ones that we just talked about right here when it came to anything having to do with sights. Go to guntales.net, and you can learn all about this book and a bunch of other things those guys do as well.